Happy Valentine's! So I'm posting this a day earlier than normal because I want to post on Valentine's Day with my Valentine's top on. So welcome to Colleen Chats, where I'm Colleen and I just chat about whatever I want. And today I'm going to be curling my hair while I chat because I need to add a little bit of style to it. This topic is trad wives, and the reason why it's trad wives is because Ballerina Farm, Hannah Newman, I think her name is, she's recently gone quite viral because her raw milk was bad for people. And I'm not even going to get into the topic of people drinking raw milk or anything like that. It's more just the problem I think there is with trad wives, and I think the three most popular ones are obviously Ruby Frankie, Nara Smith and Ballerina Farm. And I think like the main problem with them, because I don't know, I kind of feel like I got sucked a bit into the trad wife life and thinking, oh yeah, that's something I would definitely like to do. But then when I looked deeper into it, I was like, is that something I'd really want to do? And also, are they actually trad wives? And we'll get into Nara Smith because she actually spoke about not being a trad wife, which is just the most real but also ridiculous thing she's ever said. So I think the problem is the trad wives online are fake. It's cosplaying and they're selling a fantasy. And what they're selling is like this perfect house, this perfect husband, perfect kids, perfect life, perfect family, and they're living this absolute dream because most of them live on a farm and they're just baking sourdough every day because that seems to be the only way you can be a trad wife, is if you can actually bake some sourdough. And I think it's just it's super confusing because these women have an unbelievable amount of money themselves. When speaking of actual trad wives, they don't have money themselves because they don't work, they stay at home all day. And I think it's just, if you want to say you're a traditional wife in the sense of going back 50, 60 years ago, you wouldn't have your own phone to post videos. You wouldn't have your own car, probably. You wouldn't have your own responsibilities. And I think that's why it's so confusing. And there's just certain points in each of these three families that just bothers me a lot. Like, for example, Ballerina Farm. She is an incredibly talented woman. She's a ballerina, that's her thing. But her husband is unbelievably rich. His family owns airline companies, I believe. They live on a 300-acre ranch farm, and that's where their business comes from. Her range in her kitchen, I seen one post that said it was worth $8,000 and another one worth $20,000. And when I was first ever watching her videos, I literally thought she had an old school range. This is something that she probably found in an old house or in her old house, because all her videos are centered in her kitchen. But actually turns out her range is $8,000 to $20,000 to buy, and she's playing it off like she's a pauper in her videos. And yeah, so it's just one of those things. When I seen her videos, I was like, oh, she must live on a farm. They mustn't be that wealthy, but obviously because she makes money online, that's why they're wealthy now. That was my impression. But comes out that no, actually her husband's a billionaire and they own this massive ranch. Their house is not what they describe, what she promotes it to be on her Instagram or her TikTok or whatever. She just posts this one section and the table looks a bit rugged, and it's it's real old school farm, kind of how I picture my grandparents. And yeah, so that was crazy. And then Nara Smith. So first of all, she's Mormon, which I'm not really getting into the Mormon side of it, because when I was looking up some stuff about Nara Smith, it's she's Mormon, and Mormons are against black people and stuff, and I just don't like to bash religions in videos, because I think there is good and bad in them all. And I think personally, I don't really follow a religion or anything, so that's why it's you know what I mean? There's people that come out saying really bad stuff about it, and there's people that come out saying good stuff, and yeah, so yeah, it's one of them things. So yeah, obviously another thing about Nara is her clothes that she would wear. baking was a big thing because she'd wear like really expensive like haute couture kind of outfits, and she'd be making chewing gum, you know, that kind of way, like my husband, lucky he would like some chewing gum, and then she spends 45 years making the chewing gum for him. So it was literally just cosplaying. It was her show, you know what I mean? And the interesting thing I think about both of these women, more so Nara, is they don't show off their kids too much. I know Ballerina Farm does, but I don't follow her religiously, and all her content isn't about her kids, which I admire. But then Nara doesn't show her kids' faces at all. And like when she had like, was it her third or fourth child, and like 8 hours after giving birth she was up moving about the house and stuff. And I think that one is kind of like, I'm not a mom, I've never given birth, and I've seen so many different women in my life give birth and have so many different experiences, so I can't vouch for that. There's people that couldn't move for weeks after they had a child, and then there's people that could, and people that went through postnatal depression, and other people that didn't. So I think I can't speak on that, but that was like a big thing where it was almost like setting unrealistic standards for women, because in one of her videos she was almost like body checking, and again, like some people lose the weight quicker, other people don't. You can't obviously like lose all the weight that quick. I guess like your body does have to heal for a certain amount of time. But I think her voice is a big one that I just don't think it's very real. But then I seen she was in a podcast, and she like spoke about like, I'm not a trad wife, like I'm a businesswoman, social media is a job, and you know, she kind of went on like that. And I was like, so for like the 2 years that you were doing your platform and pretending to be a trad wife, did you not think about telling people that you're not a trad wife? No, because you were making a lot of money off it. And I think that's the unethical side to it, that it was just setting these unrealistic standards for all women. Nara is one of the better, although she doesn't call herself trad wives, because she doesn't overshare on her life. I don't think, like she'll put in little glimpses of her day and like the back of her kids' hair and stuff, but she doesn't overshare about her kids, and that's something I really admire. But then there's obviously the extreme of the 8 Passengers with Ruby Franke. If you want more information about that, look into Sherry Franke's book, because the story's like insane. And then there's Watch Evil Influencer on Netflix. I watched that and it actually just mind blown. Could do a whole like episode on that, but I actually think I want to keep this channel like slightly more positive than just talk about all negative stuff, because there's so much stuff in the world. Like when she shared when she took her son Chad's bed, when she took his door, when she took his phone, I think there's just like so much oversharing online with kids. And again, she kind of portrayed this godly woman, but wasn't really acting very godly. And I think religion seems to be behind all these kind of stories, and like all these kind of trad wives, they just all make so much money from it. Mommy vloggers should be as big as they are. I don't know why people want to know as much as they want to know about people's lives and their kids, and just like if their kid has like a disability or something and that's kind of made to be their whole personality, I find that really strange as well. That just makes me uncomfortable when people overshare about their kids. So that's something I like about Nara Smith. She doesn't, and I don't think Ballerina Farm overshares about her kids. Yeah, but 8 Passengers was just like the whole extreme of that, and I just don't. In conclusion to this video, they're just working. Their houses are like sets and stuff, and I think it's the same as like people that do like restock videos and stuff. You know yourself, if you've ever tried to have a nice tidy fridge or organize stuff. I mean, it's just me and Lewis in the house, and we can't keep like the Tupperware all organized. It gets messy all the time and everything. So I think that's just one of the things, is just to remember that it's a job and it's work, and a lot of these people probably wouldn't make as much sourdough as they do if they didn't have to share it with the world. They would just make that one loaf a week to do their kids and stuff. So I think, yeah, you know, like even people that are like grow everything from home, they'd probably grow one less vegetable or one less patch to have that extra chili to can up to give to their family. It probably wouldn't be to the same extent that it is, because they make money off it. So yeah, they're really just selling this fake dream. And I mean, 8 Passengers is an example of that it's a fake dream. And then there's Nara Smith that came out and said, well, I'm not a trad wife, you know what I mean, I'm a businesswoman. So she kind of unsold it, and then Ballerina Farm, when it came out, like, actually, her husband has all this money. She's not like this like poor woman with loads of kids, and like, no, she actually lives an extravagant life and has like cleaners and help in the house, and no shade on that. If you can get the help, get the help. I think everyone deserves a bit of help. But yeah, so I think it's like one of those things, because I personally don't believe everything on social media is fake. And now when I watch Nara Smith's videos, I do see them as cosplayed, and I can actually enjoy them a lot more once she's come out and said that it's fake. But she had to play along in order to get to a level so that she could confess that it was all fake and it wasn't real. And I feel like I can enjoy her content more, and knowing like Ballerina Farm and just like her whole wealth and everything is a part of it, and I can enjoy her content more. So I think that 8 Passengers, hopefully we never ever see her again. I can't remember how long she's gone to jail for, but I really hope it's for a really long time. But what's your thought on trad wives? I might do another series on mommy vloggers, but I think if you talk about mommy vloggers, it's kind of like sharing too much about kids, and I just don't think kids' personal stuff should be shared. I'm not against sharing photos of kids or videos or whatever. I'm also completely okay if you're someone that doesn't want to share your kids online, that's fine too. But I think I'm just not okay with people sharing too much information about their kids. There's one girl I follow, Riley something her name is, or something Riley, and I know she's like a mommy vlogger and she shares stuff about her kids, but she doesn't show off the kids as much as other people. Probably still too much for some people, but I think there is people that do it in like a good way, in a tasteful way, and you can tell that someone's kid is genuinely enjoying it, because there's that family that has like 1 million kids, and their kids just don't look like they want to be in it. The Doherty family was another one where it doesn't look like the kids really care too much to be in the videos. And I think I even know when like I ask my niece or nephews or whatever, like, oh, let's take a photo, and if they say no, I'm like, okay, no, we won't take a photo, we won't take a video. But if they say yes and they smile, I will take it and I will do it. But I always ask, you know what I mean? Once they're like above the age of asking the question, but even when they're like a tiny tot, I'm not forcing them on my hip to take a photo. If they're wriggling out, I'm letting them out. So I think it's all side of that. Yeah, I'm just not really for the mommy vloggers, and I'm not really for the people that set up channels for their kids or Instagrams for their kids. I just think let a kid be a kid. But I went a bit off track there, so sorry. Enjoyed me doing my hair. I have another YouTube channel called Colleen's Creations, and I do hair and makeup content over there. I don't really chat too much like I do here. I just feel like I needed this channel just to talk, but I think I'll do a whole other video about that. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments.